Thank you. Good afternoon. This is my presentation. This is part of a larger project funded by NWO. The bigger project is ethno-religious conflict in Indonesia and Philippines. This is the Philippine case. I'm one of the two PhDs from the Philippines. So last week, Philippines was included in the list of the least peaceful countries in the world. It made headlines in the Philippines. It was just last week. It was surprising for some, for many probably. For me, it's interesting. And then, well, we've got nice companies there, huh? When it's done, but you see Philippines. It's based upon this website, peacefulcountries.org, probably you can check. And then on that website, it mentioned there are two ongoing conflicts in the Philippines. First one is the communist insurgency since 1942. And then the second one is the Moro insurgency since 1969, based on the website. And there, it cited like there are about 170,000 casualties due to this conflict. But my study will focus on the Moro insurgency, and which is often called like ethno-religious conflicts because the groups involved are divided into ethno-religious lines. Many studies on conflict, especially in the Philippines, have looked at the history, colonialization, identity politics, clash of interests, natural resources, migration, marginalization of minorities, international politics, things like that. But the question remains, why do these conflicts persist? Why do these conflicts persist? Since 1942, since 1969. Well, for the Moro insurgency, there was a peace agreement in 1996, but a new breakaway group, emerged. So probably, this is my argument, probably it's worthwhile to look at how these groups relate with each other. How do these groups see each other? What's the intergroup relations? Probably one really hates the other. They don't want to be living together. They don't want to see each other. They don't want to be in one country. Probably. We don't know. That's why we made Bugardus type social distance question. So the question is, okay, but before that, I forget, what drives these people to hate each other? Or what drives these people to exclude each other from their neighborhood, from their work, from the public spaces? So my argument is that it's ethno-religious identification. So what are the manifestations of this ethno-religious identification in the Philippines? I'll take you to 2010. Probably you remember this one. This is the Miss Universe pageant, 2010. So this, the candidate from the Philippines, she was asked this question. She was one of the finalists in the pageant. Would you change your religious beliefs to marry the person you love? Why or why not? Here is her answer. If I have to change my religious beliefs, I will not marry the person that I love. Because the first person that I love is God, who created me. And I have my faith and principles. And this is what makes me who I am. And if that person loves me, he should love my God too. Thank you very much. In the Philippines, that it was widely accepted that she should have won. But you know what? She placed only 4th place. That kind of answer doesn't jive with the Miss Universe principles that we have to be living in a diversity. Because this one is a strong indication of religious identification. If you love me, I want my spouse to be like me. He or she should love my God. Another one, manifestation. You know this one, probably. This is Manny Pacquiao, famous boxer in the Philippines, probably also in the world. When he fights, you know, the whole Philippines stops. So just to watch. So he won almost every fight except the last two fights. And in the last two fights, he changed his religion from Catholicism to evangelical Christian. And in the last two fights, he lost. Many people said, because he changed his religion. You see, he wasn't wearing anymore the rosary during the last two fights. Very strong religious identification in the Philippines. Secondly, this was just last year. For the first time in national TV, you see a woman or a Muslim woman wearing a hijab. For the first time. And for the Muslim group, they celebrated this one. Wow, we're on national TV, because usually they are in regional TV, but this one is being seen in a national TV. Big news for 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. This one is the peace agreement. What you see in the picture are what they're wearing. The government side still wearing the ethnic dress bagat saya, while the Moro side wearing the suit. For me, this is again for the government side saying their ethnic identification. We are Tagalogs here. Why? And also you see the contrast of their colors. Anyway, the questions that we ask: to what extent would you accept or avoid having a Christian or Muslim classmate, friend, boardmate, neighbor, civil servant, policeman, mayor? Most 1 out of 4 said they would avoid a mayor from the other group. That's a strong exclusionary behavior. Okay. But then, is there hope in the Philippines? Yes. Why? Because there's a concept in the Philippines called kapwa. This, or loosely translated as shared identity. So we have this ibang tao, which is the out group, and then hindi ibang tao, which is the in group. And there's this bridging called pakikiramdam, which is the heightened awareness of self, others, and situation. So in the Philippines, probably next survey, you will not see the Philippines as one of the least peaceful countries. Thank you very much.